Yes, we've got another in our short series of On the Safe Streets of Perth, or the bike boulevards as they call them. And what I didn't realise is this strip of red bike path on the road here, which I was put onto as a part of a detour due to work on the railway line, which I'll cover in another video, actually turned into a safe street when it goes around the corner here. And I had no idea it existed. Last time I was here, I did have a look at the Department of Transport website, and it listed a number of safe streets, and I kind of looked at it and didn't pay that much attention to where they actually were. Because normally what I do is I ride on the bike path on the other side of the railway line, but due to some works, they've diverted all cyclists down this side of the railway line, and hey presto, there's a safe street. So, what's this one like? Well, it was very quiet. I think in my ride up and down, I only saw a couple of cars. They were moving pretty slowly. And yes, they have definitely done quite a bit of work on the street here to narrow it both visually and physically to keep speeds down to 30 kilometres an hour. So you can see essentially what the path is doing is zigzagging from left to right to left to right as we go down here. So they'll have, say, parking on the left side of the road, and then we get to some concrete islands, and it zigs, and then we have parking on the right. And you can see how they've differentiated it using red asphalt and grey asphalt to show you parking's over there, and you drive or ride over here. So here we now zag, and it's very straightforward. You can also see they've put trees into the islands to make it a little bit more obvious that the islands are there. So I guess you're less likely to crash into them. Now, I was a little bit surprised as to why the street was here, because I thought, well, where does this actually go? Because I could see ahead of me that red asphalt just kind of finished at an intersection, and whilst it's very nice to have this street running from the railway line through the suburb, and it would be very, very useful if you lived out this way to get down to the railway line, which is then essentially a freeway which can take you into the city or out towards Midland and Guildford. What's it here for? And what I found when I went to the Bayswater Council website is this is actually just stage one, and they've got stage two planned, which would extend this into the Morley town centre. So that makes a lot of sense, and it would join up a couple of schools and shopping centres and things like that. So I think from memory this was done back in 2017 or 2018, and they've probably been wanting to extend it ever since. So yes, you might say it's a path that kind of goes nowhere at one end, or you could say that, well, it's a feeder from there down to the railway line, and they do want to extend it, but I don't know what the hold-up is, whether it's problems with council, whether they can't get a government grant. I have no clue as to what the politics of it are and the funding. I'm just going to show you what the street looks like. Now, obviously, if we wanted to do, say, quiet streets in Sydney, there's been some talk of doing this in 5 Dock, for instance, where you take the residential streets, which aren't through streets or not through streets, roads that are carrying a lot of traffic. When you resurface them, why not do something like this? Physically alter the surface of the roads. So instead of just resurfacing a street to get rid of the potholes and the ruts and that kind of stuff, actually change the layout of it to force drivers to keep their speeds down to no more than 30 kilometres an hour. Now, I ducked into a side street, of which there were very few, just to see what the view was like from a driver's point of view, coming in from a side street. And you can see what they've done is they've built up an island or a cushion at the intersection. Great big yellow sign there to let people know there'll be cyclists on this section of road, and it's red. And that red should be pretty obvious to drivers that they could expect to see cyclists going back and forth, and they should look for them. So, that's all good. I think of, the way they've done the cycleway along Henry Street, for instance, near 5 Dock Public School, and compare it to this and think, oh, it's just chalk and cheese. Anyway, that was it. I'm going to cover the detour in another video because it's well worth looking at as well. Anyway, there you go, a Bayswater safe street.